Could a Spurs new arena be on the horizon? Let's talk about Project Marvel.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia. Every single day, free and available wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know where to go. Subscribe and check out the Locked On Spurs YouTube show right now. Leave a comment because we may read them in a future episode. And subscribe to the Locked On Spurs newsletter. Description below. You see that? Click on that. There's the link. Sign up. It's free. Go check it out. Yeah. Project Marvel, huh? This could be a new phase of the Spurs rebuild. It's not just about the roster and the potential coaching changes. Wemby and, mixing things up with him, it goes beyond that. It goes into the future of the Spurs off the court, and that begins with the new arena. Spurs, they want to keep up with the big boys. I mean, look at the Clippers, the new arena they got there, no pun intended, but it is a marvel. I mean, it's just awesome. You're looking at newer, fresh arenas. The Spurs current Frost Bank Center is technically outdated for NBA standards. But the big question is, who's going to foot the bill? What is it all about? Should the Spurs do it? Will the city be on? Who's going to pay for it? There's just so much involved. Wish we could get all into it here, but we'll get the highlights for you Spurs fans across the globe. Hey, quickly, this episode is brought to you by Game Time. You want to go to Game Time right now, download the app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. All right, let's go to bring in our guest, Casey Vieira, who is a marvel. And I mean that in a good way. He's a marvel because he takes time to come on Locked On Spurs. And make sure to follow him on X at Casey_Vieira. Not the letter K and C, but spell it out, CASEY_Vieira. That was kind of a fun story I told you before the record button there.
Yeah.
And somebody thought your name was literally the letter K and C.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday to you, too.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Yeah. I hit a milestone.
35 years young.
I would do anything to go back to be your age, Casey. The things I would change, just out of control, man. Just decisions I made, like, what are you thinking, dude? Why did you do that?
I tell you what, maybe it was becoming a dad, I don't know. But I feel like I felt from age 34 to age 35 with what I am right now, I think I felt that physical transition more than I have at any other age, one to another.
But make sure to follow Casey on that one. Make sure to follow Casey on X at Casey_Vieira. He's my colleague at Ken's 5 TV. He holds it down at the sports desk for the station Thursday through Sunday. So check him out on TV. But we're here not just talking about life, but we're also here to talk about the future of the Spurs that could be involving a new arena. Today's a big day for that. I think the Spurs and other entities will meet with the city and pretty much have to reveal and talk about the details of the Project Marvel. Project Marvel is the code word given to a proposed sports entertainment district to be created in downtown San Antonio. Pretty much, it's going to be a big endeavor. The cost is probably astronomical, but the big question is, who's going to be paying for it? What is it? How much do they want? Do the Spurs have to do it? Because there's a guy from France here, who wants to stick around. Maybe they may have to do the house that Wemby built. But big day, nonetheless, Casey. Let's get into some numbers here. I think it's about an estimated $3 to $4 billion project. Your thoughts on this? Should the Spurs do it? Should the city be on board? Is this something they have to do to keep the Spurs in San Antonio? So, Casey, I got to ask, is this a project that needs to be done considering, the Spurs, they got themselves that generational player, Wemby? Is this something this Spurs city needs to be on board with to keep perhaps the biggest attraction in San Antonio? Because something tells me if it doesn't get done, you're going to start hearing relocation talk.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going as far as that yet, but it's kind of hard to avoid that chatter. It's just kind of inevitable regardless, in my opinion. But as much as a local taxpayer, as much as I don't not particularly thrilled to potentially pick up the tab on it. It's kind of like one of those things where I don't know how many more opportunities there are here to create a significant chance of, you know, business development and
Mhm.
things like that could just be a byproduct of rebuilding that whole entire area downtown. I'll also be the first to tell you that I'm not tremendously educated in the subject matter and the intricacies and the day-to-day workings of how it would work and the logistics of it. So take what I say in a with a slight grain of salt, because it is talking from that and talking from the lens of just a sports fan, because I would love to see that. Every time whether I do
Yeah.
go as a fan to the AT&T Center or I go for work, it's just such a long and desolate and a whole road of empty on the way down,
Yeah.
and you just wish there was something ahead of that, especially for the city of San Antonio, which is rapidly growing.
Mhm.
It's not, and continues to grow, and just kind of just uh, knowing that I feel like when you're a top 10 city in the country by population, it kind of has to
Mhm.
come with the territory of
Yeah.
putting these types of things together around your main attraction, which of course are the Spurs, and make it something beyond just the game. You're driving down, you're getting off the highway and the access road. There's like a Wendy's and
Mhm.
McDonald's before you get on um AT&T Drought or AT&T's Parkway, whatever we're calling it
Mhm.
now since it became the Frost. There's nothing down there.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that
At all.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's long overdue for a facelift collectively to get something like this done, especially considering it's a product to sell. I mean, I know the Spurs
Yeah.
have won 5 championships, but the Spurs have never been in my opinion, have never been as marketable as they are now because of Victor. They never had. They never as successful as they
Yeah. Exactly.
were 20 years ago. Tim Duncan, though his style of play didn't exactly, outside of San Antonio, didn't exactly sell tickets. The correct way of basketball didn't entirely sell tickets. This
Mhm.
guy, this
Yeah.
man Victor. I mean, he is a brand.
I,
This is a $1 billion asset, and I feel like it almost kind of pays for itself in the long term. Having that when the rationale comes
mhm.
to building an arena down here.
No, no, I'm with you. And this is very, for me, shades of when the SBC Center, that was the original name of the Frost Bank Center, everybody, SBC Center. When it opened up, it was promises, and it's gonna revitalize the east side of San Antonio. It's gonna be a sports district, a go-to destination for all Spurs fans and beyond. And it never ever happened. It never happened. There's a bar, one little bar that's close to the center. That's
And
it.
the letter A is
It
out.
yeah. Yeah, exactly, thank you. And that's it, there's nothing else. Now, is it closest downtown? If you go up and down Houston Street, yes. I mean, it's not that far, but again, it never the promises made were never fulfilled whatsoever. Now, moving into downtown, obviously, it's just gonna be a huge boon for the city because, you're gonna see restaurants open, you're gonna see more concerts, more big name conventions and whatnot. So I'm afraid it's going to be like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me kind of thing. I don't think it will be because of the location where it's going to be in downtown San Antonio. But here's the thing too: you look at a lot of NBA arena rankings, the Frost gets ranked almost at the bottom, if not the worst. And the big reason is the commute. The commute. Heads up, everybody. San Antonio, as Casey said, may be a big city, but the commuter system here is horrendous. It's not good.
Mhm.
There's no subway. There's no pick something. Anything to get around. You more if you move to San Antonio, you have to get a car. Casey and I, Casey was born in the Northeast New York, New Jersey area. I lived there for nearly 20 years, and let me tell you, Having a mass transit system like that helps tremendously. Spurs don't
Mm-hmm.
have that.
No.
San Antonio doesn't have it, excuse me. Now, you move a downtown arena, you make a downtown arena. Yay, good job, Spurs. The house that Wemby built, we're good to go. But my thing is parking. That parking, I think, might be bad, Casey.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big thing, but I also feel like that's kind of the trade-off with it though too. With
Yeah.
you talk about public transportation and get over there. Well, you're focusing
Yeah.
a lot of that, hoping a lot
Yeah.
of people will now turn to that to get down there because it's not an easy place to get to, and like you said, that's why. And inside the frost, it's not like you take a step inside of it. You're like, this place is a dump. It's pretty modern. It's up to
Yeah,
up to
it's okay.
par.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You're not really feeling one ways or another about it. You're like, okay, cool, all right. Uh, but it's just everything about getting to it. That's
Mm-hmm.
just the lack of public transportation to it. The fact that really, if you're going to get to it, it's just primarily you're going through back neighborhoods or you're taking one long road to get into
Yeah.
that building.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not, yeah, it's very difficult. It's not, depending what time you get out of there, it takes forever to get out of that parking lot. There are
Yeah,
just so many
it does.
logistical aspects of it that you go beyond, the narrative of fancy stadium for a new team. When you get beyond that and just the pure logistics of getting
Mm-hmm.
to and from the place, and it's difficult. It's not easy. It's not easy at all
Yeah.
whatsoever. So I do think, yeah, parking down there, if it were to go in that hemisphere ballpark, that's the trade-off, though. If you can develop some sort, but then again, I was going to say develop a better source of public transportation to get over there. And I guess VIA could be a reasonable option when you're going to a more
Mm-hmm.
central location like
Yeah.
downtown, because they on the UTSA game days,
Mm-hmm.
largely park and rides and things like that. They appear to be a relatively, I don't want to say seamless because I've never necessarily
Mm-hmm.
done it, but reasonably functional operation because
Yeah.
it's been that way for a long time. Special
Yeah.
events at the concerts, whatever have you not. But yeah, I think parking could be a concern, but that's the trade-off of what it is, just being in that area.
For sure. Sure. Yeah. We're talking with Casey Vieira discussing Project Marvel, the potential new Spurs arena in downtown. Big day for that. The city and Spurs and all other people involved are going to be chatting it up, and we might get more details about this Project Marvel and the future of the Spurs arena. So we're going to be discussing that when we get back. But first, I want to talk to you about Game Time. Hey, I want to talk to you about Game Time. Go to gametime.co right now. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks. Make getting tickets easier for your favorite live events that much better. Game Time filters out the fluff, so you only get incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands and thousands of tickets. Hey, Game Time has it all. They have the super deal. They got seats view before you buy. They got curated deals to make it easier to find the best price on great seats, the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. You will be pleasantly surprised with this app. Go get it right now. Game Time Picks, again, that's a curation that makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Hey, they have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. Hey, I want to talk to you about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Go there right now, San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive, open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have it all. Great menu, cold drinks, hot drinks, coffee, the signature drink, Mudslinger, iced lattes. Pick something you're craving, they'll have it. Check out the menu. Proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs and a proud community member, serving San Antonio the best coffee in the city. Go there right now, open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They have the Lightning Bolt series, which includes the Alien, which is a drink made in honor of Victor Wembanyama. Got to try it. Speaking of which, hey, they have these drinks, like I was mentioned right now, the Lightning Bolt series. They're going to be containing Lotus Energy. That's 7 power plant extracts. That gives them flexibility to create new drinks. But if you want Red Bull, you just tell them and they'll put it in there. But the default will be Lotus Energy. Go there right now, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. They even got mini donuts. Best spot in the city to get yourself some coffee. Go there right now, San Antonio. Follow them on social media at Muslinger SATX. Go there right now because life is too short for bland coffee.
Oh, hey, this is Morty Smith and Cheese. You are listening to Locked on Spurs with Jeff Garcia on Cheese.
You're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Casey Vieira. Follow him on X at Casey_Vieira. Spell that out. It's not the letter K in the C. It's KCCASEY_Vieira. And another interesting thing about Project Marvel is that I was reading kind of like stuff that's already leaked. According to this leaked documents, Casey's going to be footing the bill for it. Good job, Casey. Way to go.
Absolutely not.
But speaking of, let's talk about that. Look, let's be honest. You know, San Antonio is not one of the richest cities in the nation. It has a small media market, so cost. Who's going to pay for it? You know, the document that did leak, they're projecting it to be between $3 and $4 billion. You know how much of the Spurs is going to contribute? The city, the county. You got to figure Bear County right now is not liking this because Bear County runs the the Frost Bank Center. They have a lease with the city and the Spurs till 2032, I believe. So any type of new arena is not going to happen for quite a while. But yeah, you know, will it be more sales tax? Will the residents have to foot the bill? Will there be another proposition on the next voting cycle? You know, will there be a push? You know, vote for prop blah blah blah. It includes this and that, and the Spurs arena. I could definitely see, you know, stuff coming out very similar to what happened when the SBC Center was built. As if you don't make it, they'll leave. You think if this doesn't work out, the Spurs may entertain the idea of exiting San Antonio for a city that will foot the bill or at least help with a new, better arena?
Yeah, I do. Because
Thanks.
they're just such a hot commodity. And I'm not saying they're going to depart to Vegas or something like that, but
Yeah.
if they could find an opportunity closer to that Austin market that they keep alluding to,
Mm-hmm.
they keep alluding to the idea of, you know, hey, we want to pander to the Austin crowd and reach out more to the Austin crowd. Well, you put the pieces together, and if the city doesn't pick up the tab or the whatever the financial logistics end up being that the city and the organization don't meet, I don't think they
Mm-hmm.
would take Spurs. I don't think that you're looking at Vegas's new team, but I do think without hesitation, if you find a plot of land between here and Austin on I-35, a reasonable
Yeah.
one to get, whether it be a San Marcos or New Braunfels or Kyle or something like that, I don't think they would bat an eye. I really don't.
Yeah.
And to an extent, how can you blame them should they not? Should they want to go that route? For all the
Yeah.
things that we just a minute ago, the accessibility and all that to get to the place and all the hassles that it takes at just the bare minimum to get
Mm-hmm.
to an event, why would they not use the leverage of potentially going somewhere else, especially when the owner is
Mm-hmm.
Austin anyways?
Yeah.
Why would that suddenly not be an option should this downtown conversation fall through? You would think that immediately
Yeah.
presents itself as an option.
Ultimately, I think the residents of San Antonio are not going to like it. I think there's going to be some sort of tax on them. There's going to be.
Yeah.
It's coming, and I think that's going to be a sticking point. You're already seeing some hurdles because the proposed area where they're going to make the arena possibly is one of the last remaining structures of the 1968 World's Fair, which is the Texas
Right.
Institute of Culture. Now, you're going to have conservation groups try to protect that as, hey, that's part of history of San Antonio. How dare you turn it down? So that could be a hurdle. It likely is going to be one of the first hurdles they'll go over. And now, as far as convenience, if the arena plans go forward, I mean, for me, it's awesome. It's just blocks away from me where I am right now. If I decide to wait it out that long in my current spot, but the location will be good. It will definitely help boost the downtown economy. You're gonna possibly have the return of the NBA All-Star game to San Antonio if that happens, because it's been a minute since that event has happened in San Antonio. It just right now, they can't. The NBA. That's probably a big reason why the NBA doesn't consider San Antonio a spot for the All-Star game, is the location of the Frost Bank Center. It's not near any hotels. It's not any close to the airport. I mean, not to say downtown is close to the airport, but it's closer. Um, Transportation is horrible, so I can definitely understand that. And then there's the idea, Casey, of, I think it's very eerily similar. Again, I went through the SBC Center, Alamo Dome to SBC Center move, and it feels very similar to that. Ultimately, I think it will happen. It's just the cost, man. That's why I think it's probably going to be an issue. The cost is just, and it's going to be expensive. And then here's the thing too. It's kind of a move to make Wemby happy, isn't it? I mean, ultimately, he is your future. He'll generate money for the franchise, and as they say, Casey, this is a business. The NBA is a business. They don't call it NBA period. They really call it NBA E. E stand for entertainment. So if they want to get those entertainment dollars, and Wemby draws in the entertainment dollars and the eyes, then you may have to do it. I mean, man, thank you, Steve Ballmer, for setting the bar so high now. I mean, thanks, appreciate that. Because look at that clip. I mean, but that's a rich owner. That bill for him probably was just a drop in the bucket for him. Spurs don't have that type of monetary power on their side. So yeah, unfortunately, I think the city residents are going to have to foot some of the bill, and I don't think they're going to be happy about it, Casey.
I think ultimately it will.
Yeah.
I don't say it with tremendous confidence, but if you ask me right now, especially, I don't, there's the talk of the ballpark going in there too. I don't think they really care about the ballpark as much as they do the arena.
For sure.
I don't care about the missions, honestly, but I think the pitch will be made more so, as it should, strongly around the business development and the fact that have the biggest global superstar in the sport, if not the global athlete in the world in a few years. And you talk things like the reason I think they can get it done, because you mentioned the All-Star game and things like that. This city and the Alamo Dome, there's a reason the Final Fours keep coming back. There's a reason that WWE is bringing their 80,000 people events here once every four years or so, like that, because the downtown area, the Alamo Dome, between hotels that are over near Hemisphere and the walking distance to get to it, which is plenty reasonable, there's a reason that they keep coming back. Just like we're going to see them coming back in March for the Final Four again. There's a reason for it. They know that the blueprint is there for them to get it right, I feel like, and to make a strong enough pitch, in my opinion. Obviously, it comes down to the dollar signs, like you said, but I feel like the blueprint is there to justify, and it's easy for me to say right now until I see the tab, and I'm like, I don't know about that, but right, I don't know if I want that 20% tax raise on my tab. I know it's not going to be that, but I really feel like the people are going to have a little bit of PT. If they were residents here well, I guess by the time this would come about, would be probably 30 years prior the first vote with the SBC Center that
Right.
passed, that went along with it. There might be a PTSD of them just being like, well, you said it, just, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. But I think this would be different because that kind of felt like, and mind you, I was 10 years old, not even when that was going down. You had a better idea of it than I did,
Thanks,
being around
Casey.
it. Yeah, you're welcome. Already established that you're older than I am, so just
Yeah.
and we'll also say that.
I'm rolling with it, Casey. I'm rolling with it.
Yeah. That felt like just a more ambitious pitch. Like, yeah, now that we have this, we can do this, and we'll build this. And it ended up just kind of being a false promise, for lack of a better term, and to kind of just put it bluntly, district around it. This, for the most part, you already. The reason I feel this is different is, one, you have more around it by default. That the more tourist attraction part of it by default is within walking distance, in the Riverwalk and all, and that aspect of it. And two, you can sell that the Alamo Dome part of it as well. It's like, hey, we've already good recipe here when we host major events, and there's a reason they keep coming back time and time again. There's a reason we can have these concerts and we can bring people in for these concerts and all that. It's because we know what we're doing. Now, whether they get it right and make a strong enough pitch and the price tag is there, well, but I definitely think the sales pitch this go around is a much more reasonable sell comparatively 25, 30 years ago.
I agree. And think about it too. It was, if I remember correctly, it was kind of shaky when the SBC Center was proposed, and that was with Timmy, Tony, and Manu and banners going up. And so now with the team, well, hold that thought. Let's continue this chat. When we get back, we're going to talk more about the Project Marvel proposed Spurs Arena downtown in San Antonio with Casey Vieira of Ken's 5 San Antonio. But first, I want to talk to you about Chime. We all hit a point where we realized it was time to make serious money moves. Take control of your finances by using Chime checking account with features like no maintenance fees, free fee overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. You want to go to chime.com/NBA right now. Look, Chime allows you to overdraft up to $200 again with no fees. And Chime helps you make progress with fee-free overdraft up to $200. You get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. No monthly fees or maintenance fees. Over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. Chime has spotted members over 30 billion. That's right, 30 billion bucks. Look, friends give friends a boost, right? Eligible members get a complimentary boost to temporarily increase a friend's Spot Me limit. When you give a boost, they can boost you back to temporarily raise your limit. Set up direct deposits in your Chime account after qualifying direct deposit of $200 plus. Chime will notify you to enroll in Spot Me. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 when you exceed your balance. Your next direct deposit is applied, and to your negative balance, Chime will never charge fees or interest for using Spot Me. Make all your finances a little bit greener by working towards your financial goals with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/NBA. That's chime.com/NBA. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank NA or Stride Bank NA. Members FDIC. Spot Me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details.
You are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia. Subscribe on YouTube and sign up for the Locked On Spurs newsletter.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Casey Vieira talking about the Project Marvel, a proposed Spurs arena, new one, possibly located in downtown San Antonio. Now, Casey, you had a thought right before the break there. What was that?
You were talking about selling the SBC Center, and that was a team that had already, by that point, had won. Well, I guess just one because it was 02, so 01, 02. They had already won a championship, but they had had sustained success, as we know, for years and years and years before Duncan got there, and before they won in '99. This Spurs team, they haven't even. I feel like they're marketable enough because of Victor, and then even more so if they start winning. And that's, I think, another reason. And I'm not saying we're going to wake up and they're going to be title contenders this time next year. But as we've seen so far this year, as it has gone through these first 15 games, I mean, there is progression. It is heading the right way. We've kind of been doing this same song and dance for half a decade now, almost, it feels like. But this time, it does feel a little bit different, that there is positive ascension. And I do think they're going to start winning to the point that you're going to see a reasonable sell of, hey, this people are going to want, just like anything else, they're going to want to watch their team. And they're going to check out their team. They're going to want that. Once again, it's going to become the most in-demand product in this city.
And the good thing too is that they have a lot of time between now and then when the lease ends, or if they figure a way to break the lease, to get better. So I think, when they start having deep playoff runs, conference appearances, maybe NBA Finals appearances within the lease, the remaining 10 years of the lease with Frost, then they got more leverage. But they got to start winning. And so I think you can't sell the residents, hey, pitch in for the tab. By the way, it's the year 2031. We're about to move into the arena, and we're a 22-win season team. So that can happen. That can happen. And look, the Spurs are positioned draft-wise, with a lot of capital to make moves happen if they want to push there. So that could be part of their big picture as well. But yeah, I mean, Project Marvel is going to be something on the lips of a lot of Spurs fans moving forward, and we'll see. Ultimately, I do think it will get done. But the drama, the drama now and then is going to be interesting.
Yeah, but here's something to keep in mind too as well. And again, I don't have this is me spitballing a little bit and not having any sort of concrete numerical data in front of me here. One thing I feel like could turn off the fans is the more and more of a global entity that they become, as long as Victor is here, is that they're a tourist attraction, meaning the demand from it is going to go up. And I think the dangerous game in finding the balance right there is pricing out the local fan, because they've become such a tourist attraction. And you've seen it on the resale. We're 2 years into not even 2 years into this Wemby thing, and they're already the 8th highest resale value on a team that's coming off a 22-win season, and they're already the 8th highest resale value. So you're really, and I think this is going to be the devil's advocate argument when it comes about, and if this team continues to trend the right way, is that, you're bringing in more of the tourist traction per ticket, but you're kind of pricing out your local fans. And that's what you see, that's what you always see in the bigger markets, when the Knicks are good, when the Lakers are good, when, I guess now to a lesser extent, when the Clippers are good, when the Warriors are good. That's the big issue with a lot of people out west. When the Warriors went across the bridge to San Francisco, is that all those fans in Oakland, they're like, well, you left us. It was, we could get over here. Now, not only did you leave, but you're pricing us out there as well. And I think that's kind of the dangerous game that will become the devil's advocate argument here for not wanting to buy that, because or buy into that. The idea of getting that arena there, because the local fans like, yeah, cool, we're winning again. But if it's costing us $150 a ticket to sit in the upper level on a Wednesday game, on the Wizards, I don't want to do that. So you're going to put the tab on me, and I can't even go to the game because it's costing me $150 to sit up top, 8 rows from the back of the building. I'm not going to want to do that.
So many, paths, avenues, streets that the Spurs, city, and everybody else involved are going to have to cross to get it done. But this is just the beginning steps of any new Spurs arena. And I'm pretty sure, even the Warriors went through that when they relocated from Oakland to San Francisco, and they had it. They now have a brand new arena. And look at them. The NBA awarded them the All-Star game. I think the Clippers, the Bomber had his last year, I believe. Right? No. Right? They had it last year, or is it coming out this year?
Indy was last year, if I'm not
last
mistaken,
year. So
right?
I think this year is going to be in Los Angeles.
This year is in San Francisco.
San Francisco. Thank you. So the point is, they're going to a new arena, which is the San Francisco arena. But we'll see what happens. So I think a lot of Spurs are going to be tuning into what's going on with Project Marvel moving forward. Hey, quickly, let's go and look at tonight's game, Spurs-Jazz. I was shocked when the Spurs beat the Thunder. You and I were there. We weren't working it, but we got to soak it in. A strong play that was without Wemby, without Devin Vassell, without Sohan. So Spurs did a good job. Spurs are 7-8. Jazz are 3-11. But this is a Jazz team the Spurs can't take lightly because they lost to the Jazz already in an embarrassing fashion. They had no business losing to Utah. So I think they learned their lesson. Right now, Casey, I'm just saying show up. If this team can show up as they did versus OKC, they should put away the Jazz tonight. Your thoughts?
Yeah, they should. But that's kind of been the roller coaster ride that it's been so far with this Spurs team, was that they kind of let up their foot off the gas a few times, and it's really come back to bite them. They should have beat that Jazz team. They should have beat that. They should have not blown 26-point lead. We're talking about the new fancy new stadium in LA. They should have not blown a 26-point lead against the Clippers. And so tonight it'll be more of the same, but certainly coming off of what was their best win of in my opinion, what was their best win of the season the other day against Oklahoma City, obviously, pretty good momentum to ride into this.
Keep an eye on the scoreboard. If the Spurs are up after the third period, they are undefeated. They are 5-0 at the Frost. So that's a good barometer of how the game could be turning in the Spurs' favor or not. Keldon Johnson had himself a good game. I mean, just an outstanding game. Put somebody on skates, broke their ankles, crushed it down the paint, and just jammed it on the rim. Hopefully, he'll continue his hot streak that just started against the Thunder. I'm just looking. Just bring out that same energy, bring out the same pace. With or without Wemby, the Spurs should be able to handle it. Obviously, mark it in. Keep an eye on him if you're the Spurs defense. And he is Casey Vieira. Make sure to follow my next at Casey_Vieira. He's on Ken's 5 TV side of things, holding down about all things sports, including how awesome the Dallas Cowboys are, right? They're just so awesome, right?
God.
Flipping tables now. Check out Casey on the TV, Ken's 5 TV, that is. He is the sports anchor Thursday through Sunday. I was going to say the Tube, but I thought that's going to show my age if I say the Tube, because I don't think kids know what that means now. Watch it on the Tube.
Yeah. And like you said, you've already felt that like I've dated you enough in this conversation today. So
that you have. You're pretty good at it, Casey. I appreciate it, though.
You're welcome.
But he is Casey Vieira. Follow my next at Casey_Vieira. We'll be back tomorrow talking all things silver and black. Subscribe to Locked On Spurs newsletter. So for Casey Vieira, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of